Well, hello there. Welcome. This is KBC Lunchtime News with me, Alan Aoko, and our sign language interpretation is being done by Lensa Odingo. Welcome. Now we want to take you straight to Delta House, where the Council of Governors is giving a briefing, and we have the Kakamega Governor, Wycliffe Oparanya, just speaking there. Let's listen in.
Availability of the ICU beds. Cumulatively, total of 437 ventilators across the county. 28,661 staff have been trained to deal with COVID-19 in 47 counties. In addition, 77,614 community health volunteers and assistants have also been trained. 6 Machakos, Wajir, Trans Nzoia, Mombasa, Kilifi, and Busia counties have certified laboratories to carry out COVID-19 testing. Additionally, 2 counties, Kajiado and Nakuru, have mobile labs. The fight against COVID-19 has had its own negative impact on indicators of essential health services. As at May 2020, facilities recorded reduction in the uptake of essential health services, including attendance of antenatal clinics, facility deliveries, clinic visits for children under 5 years for vaccination, or routine checks, malaria patients on treatment, number of people tested for HIV, and unfortunately, DP care rate also dropped. Nevertheless, counties are working hard to avert this trend. In effort to reverse this negative trend, counties have trained community health volunteers and assistants to coordinate community sensitization on the availability of health services during the COVID-19 outbreak. Despite the challenges, counties have continued to pilot innovations in the health sector in order to improve service delivery. Some of these innovations include: 1, use of mobile-based technology by community health volunteers and assistants to collect data, which has significantly improved management of the community health volunteers and assistants in the county. Number 2, investment in health insurance schemes by counties. For example, Makueni County, which is investing an additional $200 million annually to run a community health insurance scheme. Also, Makueni County has a capacity build about 45,000 community development leaders, alongside 4,240 community health volunteers to assist in COVID-19 home-based care at the household level. Number 3, finance, planning, economic affairs, and ICT. As reported in the Economic Survey of 2020, the GDP of the country is estimated to have expanded by 5.4% in 2019 compared to a growth of 6.3% in 2018. This growth was spread across all sectors of the economy, but was more pronounced in service-oriented sectors. For county finances, the total projected revenue for budget implementation in the year 2019-2020 amounted to 432.49 billion, which consists of equitable share allocated of 316.5 billion, with total conditional grants from both the national government and development partners being Kenya shillings 61 billion and projected own revenue of 54 billion. Out of this allocation, a total of 286 has so far been dispersed to county government as equitable share, equivalent to 90%. 19 billion as conditional grant from loans and grants, 7.2 billion as conditional grants from national government. County governments have raised Kenya shillings 21 billion total collection in own source revenue, equivalent to 38% of total projection. County government has so far paid 36.6 billion, equivalent to 71.1% out of 51 billion eligible pending bills of the total audited pending bills of 88 billion. The declared ineligible pending bill amounting to 37 billion, county governments, in effort to clear all outstanding pending bills and promote continuity in the private sector, have factored all the eligible pending bills for clearance in budgets and established pending bill committees to verify the ineligible pending and clear them for payment. Further, county governments have established county budget and economic forums to promote public participation in the budget process. Through engagements with the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, the IBEC, counties achieved the following. 1. Finalization of the county borrowing framework, which will allow counties to qualify for guarantee by the National Treasury for external and long-term borrowing. Number 2, finalization and approval of transfer of assets and liabilities relating to the devolved functions. ICT. County governments have embraced technology in conducting their business through the use of web-based applications. Further, ICT innovations have been utilized for response measures, including reporting the gender-based violence cases, making payment of various services, among others. Through the NOFBI project, some county headquarters have internet connectivity. Further, we have one county government, Usunkishu, that has expanded the network connectivity to sub-county department offices. However, other counties have engaged private internet services providers to ensure sufficient service delivery. We urge the Ministry of ICT to fast-track internet connectivity to the county headquarters.
Well, there we have it. We have there the chairman of the Council of Governors, Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, just giving a briefing on the state of counties during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. And now we'll just, of course, bring you back to that story once it is ready in our subsequent bulletins. Now, moving on, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta has commended the Chinese First Lady Professor Peng Liyuan for donating medical supplies to assist in Kenya's fight against COVID-19. The First Lady said the donation will go a long way in supporting her efforts in safeguarding women, children, the elderly, and other vulnerable groups from the pandemic. The donation is part of Chinese government's consignment of COVID-19 medical supplies delivered to African countries to help in slowing down the spread of the virus through Organization of African First Ladies for Development, which First Lady Margaret Kenyatta is a member.
The donation from China was received by Beyond Zero's coordinator Angela Langat and comprised 18,000 surgical masks and 180 infrared forehead thermometers at the organization's offices in Nairobi on behalf of First Lady Margaret Kenyatta. Speaking at the event, Langat said the supplies will help ensure the safety of health workers in the Beyond Zero COVID-19 intervention.
The donation we have received today will be used to support Beyond Zero's work with healthcare workers as they deliver services in their communities to protect women, children, and the elderly during the COVID-19 pandemic season.
The Beyond Zero coordinator pointed out that the donation is a demonstration of China's friendship with Kenya and continued collaboration through the Organization of African First Ladies for Development.
We acknowledge the generous support and collaboration from the Chinese Embassy towards Beyond Zero through donations of medical supplies in the past year, has augmented the impact of Beyond Zero's work in supporting women, children, vulnerable communities.
On his part, the charge d'affaires of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, Zhao, said the donation reflects First Lady Peng's care for the health and development of the Kenyan women and children, as well as the friendship between China and Kenya. He expressed optimism that through Beyond Zero, the donated medical supplies will play a positive role in helping Kenyan women, children, adolescents, and other vulnerable groups in the fight against the pandemic.
It is crucial for all countries to help each other, unite and cooperate with each other so as to prevail over the disease.
Elsewhere, poverty and absentee parents are said to be fueling teen pregnancies in Baringo South constituency, where just one location has recorded a massive 30 cases since schools closed following the coronavirus pandemic in March. The victims say the inability of their parents to provide them with the basic commodities, such as sanitary towels, have forced them to be easy prey for men willing to part with money.
The rate at which the number of teenage pregnancies is growing in the country is alarming. In Perkera location of Baringo South, we encountered a case of more than 30 pregnant school-going girls, with others having delivered. When we sought to know about their predicament, they blamed them on poverty and negligence by parents. They say their parents are not just absent in their lives, but even those that show responsibility do not have the ability to provide them with the basic needs like sanitary towels. The situation making them gullible to men who are ready to part with cash and take advantage to satisfy their sexual desires. Caroline, not her real name, is a student at a local day school. She says most of her classmates are pregnant.
Na wanafunzi ni wengi wenye saa wako changamoto kama yangu nyako na mimba ya mapema. Tuko wengi sana. Kwanza hata classmate yangu karibu nusu ya darasa.
Jebet, also not her real name, finds herself in a similar situation, which she blames on poverty that has left her parents unable to provide for the family.
Ile nilikuwa kama nataka pesa ya kununua kitu, nikiambia wasasi hakuna mwenye ananipatia, ananiambia enda kibarua ndio upate. Sasa sikia kuko kibarua. Kabidi tu hata kupata mtu anakupea pesa inabidi tu uchukue ndio kama kuna hiyo kitu ulikuwa unataka kununua itabidi ununue nayo pesa.
Diana Chepotibin, the coordinator of a local organization, Women Empowerment and Advocacy Network Kenya, which seeks to not only empower the girls but also educate them, saying the state of affairs in the area is worrying.
Most of them actually are facing a lot of challenges. Like here we have about 10 girls who are already pregnant. Others have children at home and they are school going. Others just dropped out of school because of challenges here and there. Some of the challenges that they addressed is like lack of money. Some of them don't have the courage to face their mothers or their parents and even ask for these small essential items, which are very essential, by the way. They should be made. Even they are, we can say, basic needs for the girls to get sanitary towels to use them while at home.
Assistant Chief of Perkera location, Martha Chebi, has joined the Chepotibin-led network in calling for the intervention from stakeholders to save the situation.
Now, a section of residents of Losesia in Samburu County have protested the encroachment and grabbing of community land by private developers in the region. The residents say they have petitioned the National Land Commission over the matter and even obtained a court order barring the individuals from interfering with the land, but the alleged grabbers proceeded to erect beacons in total contempt of the court directive.
Losesia area in Samburu County has been the central place where pastoralists, community from Samburu, Isiolo and Marsabit counties usually graze their animals during dry seasons. But the vast community ranch is fast disappearing into the hands of private individuals who purportedly held influential positions in previous governments in the 80s and 90s.
Bali linakera sana na ndio maana tukapeleka kesi kotini na tunataraji kwamba haki itapatikana kwa wenyeji wa ardhi hii.
Nasikia uchungu, mtu from nowhere anakuja kutushukulia ardhi yetu. Na naomba Mwenyezi Mungu afanye kazi yake. Hii ardhi ni yetu, sio ya mtu. Ni ya sisi wote, Wasamburu wote.
Locals have opposed the move and subsequently destroyed beacons erected by the private land grabbers in the region. The community, through the group ranch chairman Tom Lesarge, has also petitioned the National Land Commission over the matter and even obtained court orders barring the individuals from interfering with the land. Elsewhere, residents of Katelembo area in Machakos County are up in arms over what they term as a grabbed road by a local investor who also doubles up as a politician.
Tunasema barabara ifunguliwe, tutakuwa tunapitia hapa na tutafuata njia ndefu. Wakazi wa nyuma wengine ni wafanyabiashara kina mama. Wanapita hapa saa 2 ya usiku, hatujui hii gate na gate nyingine kuna niakani hapa katikati. Na tunaomba Bwana Kalembe ufungue hii njia.
The road in question is a 200-meter stretch linking Machakos Chumvi Highway to Moore Hills.
At about 16 minutes past the hour, we want to take our first short break here. But remember, you can always keep in touch with us on social media. And at this time, we want to thank William Wamburi, who's following us all the way from Watamu. Let's have that break. Welcome back. We are glad that you are still with us. Now, a 74-year-old German conservationist escaped death narrowly after she was attacked by a person who was allegedly felling trees in her 21-acre forest in Mere area of Malindi sub-county of Kilifi County. The conservationist was stabbed on the back by the unknown person who she confronted him in the early morning attack.
I don't know why.
Sylvia Jenkins Pirelli, who has been conserving her land for the last 20 years, narrated her ordeal in the hands of the illegal logger. She said trouble began at 7 a.m. when she heard someone cutting trees deep inside the forest moments after the night watchman had left.
People should do plant trees, conserve the forest. We are doing already for 20 years and nobody is appreciating it. Everybody is fighting it.
Walikata siku nyingine tukawashika, tukapelekwa polisi. Haya, tukawashika wengine, tukawasemeha, mama akawasemeha. Hivyo tayari vile vilivyo.
Luckily, one of our casual workers who was on his way to her place using the forest route found her in pain.
Miti inaleta hewa nzuri, kwa hivyo serikali naomba mumsikize kilio chake huyu mama, muwe pamoja na huyo.
Elsewhere, a young man has been killed by a hippopotamus at Lonkwar village in Samburu Central Sub-County last night. Samburu Central Deputy Sub-County Police Commander Abdikadir Malicha said the deceased was attacked by the animal at 9 p.m. as he was walking to a nearby village.
Police visited the scene. The body was removed to Marraj County Referral Hospital, waiting post-mortem.
The deceased was in a company of a friend who tried to save him from the hippo attack, but to no avail.
Mkiona mnyama yote, mtupatie report. Tuko hapa karibu na nyinyi na tuko tayari kusaidia na nyinyi.
Kama serikali anajua Kenya anaenda kufunga kabisa mguu ndio asitoke na alichi hapo. Tutasema hiyo kama ni kuchika na kuenda kufuga ni sawa.
Now, a woman and her 3 children in Nakuru town are facing eviction after her estranged husband allegedly secretly sold their home 4 months ago following a domestic dispute. Millicent Akenyi is now appealing for help to recover the family home.
Millicent Akenyi is in distress Millicent and her 3 children could soon be homeless. This is after her estranged husband Maurice Makini sold the family home in Nakuru, remarried and relocated to another county.
Nimenyang'anywa shamba, nilikuwa kama shamba, nimenyang'anywa shamba, tena hapa nanyang'anywa nyumba, na huyu bwana anaitwa Maurice Makini na ajue tu watoto wanakula nini, hata chakula ajue tu wanakula nini. Sasa imefika wakati ni sasa nataka tuhame kwa hii nyumba. Sasa tujui tutoke wapi. Nimepewa notice ya eviction.
Millicent, who works as a casual laborer in Nakuru, says a man claiming to be the new owner of their home served her with a notice to vacate by July 15th this year.
Sasa mimi nataka nisaidiwe angalau nibaki tu kwa hii nyumba na angalau alete watoto chakula, watoto wakule.
The 43-year-old is pleading for justice. The Young African Women Initiative YAWI.
Kwa nini mama huyu atolewe kwa nyumba yake ambayo pia yeye amechangia sana kuijenga, na bado pia ule mzee au watoto wako na haki.
Now, Narok County government is warning bar owners in the area flouting COVID-19 regulations that they risk losing their licenses. Area Governor Samuel Ole Tunai attributed the spread of the virus to recklessness witnessed in entertainment joints. Narok has 49 confirmed cases of coronavirus.
Narok County Governor Samuel Tunai has announced immediate closure of entertainment joints flouting COVID-19 regulations.
We have identified those bars which are still operating against our directives. We have the names, and I want to say from today, we are actually cancelling their licenses.
Speaking when he received personal protective equipment worth 1.5 million shillings from the Safaricom Foundation, the county boss called on residents to take government protocols on COVID-19 prevention seriously, as number of cases in the area are now increasing at an alarming rate.
I want to call on all the citizens to continue to be vigilant, to follow the directives which have been given by both levels of government.
Elsewhere, residents of Yamumbi in Uasin Gishu County are in panic after a body of middle-aged man suspected to have died of COVID-19 disease was left in the house for days.
Alikuja akaanza kusema ya kwamba anaumwa na hapa sehemu ya kitovu, chini ya kitovu kidogo. Akapewa maji moto ya kunywa. Baada ya kupewa maji, akaanza kutapika na akaanza kubreathe kwa nguvu sana. Sasa alibreathe karibu muda wa dakika 30, akarudi akaaga.
The body has now been transferred to Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary. In Turkana, the County Department of Health has acquired its first ICU wing and 3 ambulances as part of coronavirus pandemic preparedness.
For the first time now, we have an ICU in Turkana with 3-bed capacity, 3 ventilators. We will increase that capacity in the next 2 or 3 weeks to 13 ICU beds. 7 of them will be here. 2 of them will be in Kanamkemer Sub-County Hospital, and 2 in Lopidin in Kakuma, and another 2 in the Sub-County Hospital in Lokicha.
Area Governor Josephat Nanok, however, decried lack of enough protective equipment for frontline healthcare workers in the region. While healthcare workers in Vihiga County have benefited from a donation of personal protective equipment worth over 4.5 million shillings.
We believe in survival. This country right now is in the mode of survival. The pandemic has dictated that we all reduce ourselves or engage the gear called survival.
Finally, 13 health workers in Migori have tested positive for the coronavirus, straining the already struggling workforce. Area Governor Kodho Bad, who received a donation valued at 237 million shillings through Equity Bank, said he was deeply concerned the way the virus was spreading in the area.
In the last 3 months, we have been able to test a total of 3,883 individuals. And out of that, 244 have turned positive.
Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, a section of civil society groups in the country have halted the ongoing process of the selection of the next prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, ICC. The lobby groups claim the process has not been undertaken in a transparent and accountable manner. The civil society groups and Friends of the International Criminal Court Kenya says the methodology that the committee of the election of the prosecutor used to arrive at the names of the shortlist to the exclusion of other candidates raises a lot of questions.
The election committee is turning itself almost like a cartel to actually bring somebody who is supposed to do a certain duty. And when you look at the Kenyan cases, why Kenya is interested, is because we had Kenyan case number 1 and 2 that were being prosecuted by Ocampo and Bensouda. And one of the candidates was the victim's lawyer. We have no problem with that. But if that person becomes the prosecutor, I think we have a feeling that she didn't do a very good job because the victims did not get what they were supposed to get. So most likely she either go there and mess up the process or try to redo her case. And we think that is where we are seeing the bias.
The Anti-Counterfeit Authority has now started involving counties in the fight against the spread of illicit goods to protect local industries. The authority will be educating stakeholders at the county level on how to detect and seize the substandard products that find their way into the local markets, depriving government of the much-needed revenue.
Counterfeit Authority Director Elima Halake says the agency will be cracking down on illegal importation, local manufacturing and sale of substandard personal protective equipment PPEs that are finding their way into the market due to the high demand. The agency has now incorporated county governments to help in the crackdown on the illicit goods.
It is critical that the problem of illicit trade and counterfeiting is dealt with, because the priority government agenda, the Big Four agenda, will not be realized unless we deal a blow to the problem of illicit trade and counterfeiting.
He was speaking in Nanyuki when he met with the Laikipia County government and other stakeholders. The agency's board chairperson Flora Mutahi said they are prioritizing the war on counterfeiting and other illicit trade for the achievement of the Big Four agenda, and they will step up surveillance at all border points, airport and seaport to ensure that substandard sanitizers and face masks do not get into the country.
This is something we've got to do together. Counterfeiters, people of illicit trade, are people who invest exactly how manufacturers and others invest in their business. So to actually smoke them out and actually know what a product is counterfeit and what product is not very, very simple. It's something that actually we actually have to, because as they catch up with the intellectual property owners' rights, product, they improve it and they keep improving it. So it is something that we've constantly got to keep doing.
Laikipia East Deputy County Commissioner Esther Dhahabu warned that wines and spirit traders dealing with these products will have their licenses revoked and owners prosecuted.
We have apprehended also illicit alcohol and also counterfeit wines and spirits, which we have also taken to court, and people have been apprehended over the same.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troinjue.
Meanwhile, footballers and sporting enthusiasts in Jomvu are up in arms, accusing a contractor assigned to renovate a Jomvu Primary School playgrounds in Mombasa of shoddy work. Jomvu Youth Sports Academy coach Alex Chaleke says ongoing works are below standards, expressing fears that the 4 million shillings allocated for upgrading the grounds to a quality football pitch may have been misappropriated.
Footballers and sporting enthusiasts in Jomvu constituency in Mombasa County are disappointed by the poor renovations of the Jomvu Primary School playground. Jomvu Youth Sports Academy coach Alex Chaleke says the field cannot be used in the current state as they pose a danger to players.
Mimi kitu nitaulizia komiti ya badi
ambayo ilikaa ikatoa proposal kwamba wanataka kutengeza hii uwanja wao
Additionally, players and other stakeholders say they want to be involved in the management of sports facilities as they are the end users.
Hatusema mambo ya pesa, lakini haja yetu tutengezee kiwanja kizuri, watoto wetu wafanye mazoezi vizuri. Imekuwa vigumu safari hii, ikiwa Ministry of Sports itaamurisha turudi viwanjani. Kwetu sisi ni vigumu kwa sababu kiwanja hichi kinachezewa mpaka timu za mechi za ligi. So imekuwa ni vigumu kwetu kutrain.
The area member of parliament, Badi Twalib, refuted allegations that the playground was being converted into a container storage depot. The playground was expected to be renovated to a high-quality football pitch, the possibility of hosting league matches in future.
Well, it's now 34 minutes past the hour. We want to take another second break now. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's time to transact. Now, the new Auditor General has vowed to expedite the release of the much-delayed audit report for all public institutions. Nancy Gadungu says that she has already established an in-house plan that will ensure the pending audited reports for state entities are released before the end of this year. Gadungu made the remarks during a handover ceremony from outgoing Auditor General Edward Aoko.
Kenya has been operating without an Auditor General for the last 11 months after Edward Aoko's term expired last August. Efforts to fill the constitutional office have been rocky and controversial, and in some cases marred with legal disputes. However, after many months of back and forth, Nancy Gadungu was sworn in last week as the country's second Auditor General. Gadungu, who assumed office today, has vowed to fast-track the release of audited reports for the state and public entities.
By the end of next week, I should be issuing some of these reports. And moving on, we'll continue issuing them. Hopefully, by end of August or September, we shall clear the backlog for 18-19, because we are also simultaneously or concurrently planning for the 19-20, which has caught up with us.
The public is yet to peruse the state's audited reports for the 2018-2019 and 2019-2020 fiscal years, raising concerns about the public expenditure plans. Gadungu says already the reports are done and completed, and they are just waiting for her signature before they are released to the public.
We have already met with my senior members of the team, and we've agreed on how we are going to prioritize the audit reports. We are starting from the simple to the complex, such that those that are already at the level of the Auditor General for issuance are the ones we are going to start with. We have a team already looking at those reports, sorting them out, and we will, as I said in my speech during the swearing-in, look at the listed entities, look at the development partners, and move on. We have a few organizations that have syndicated loans. Those are some of the very, very critical entities we'll start with.
The Auditor General's post has in many instances collided with many state agencies due to explosive audit report that has caused public uproar.
I'm confident that you're going to tailor shoes which will one day, in hindsight, will be even bigger than Aoko's. And I will be able to be one of the people to say, Kenyans, you are wrong. There are bigger shoes to be created.
Gadungu has tipped Parliament to amend the law to create a position of a Deputy Auditor General to ensure smooth workflow at the agency. The law has no provision for an acting Auditor General, creating a huge work backlog during a period of transition.
Meanwhile, the war on poaching in Kenya is bearing fruits with an all-time low of 6 elephants poached since the start of the year. Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala says the elephants were poached in remote areas outside national reserves and parks, an indication of heightened protection in the wildlife sites. Balala says increased encroachment is now threatening the wildlife habitat.
Wildlife poaching has been a threat to the survival of endangered species in Kenya, especially elephants and rhinos. The numbers have been on a downward curve, from 302 elephants poached in 2013 to 38 in 2018. Since the beginning of this year, 6 elephants have been poached, the lowest ever reported. Tourism officials say this is an indication of the success of the war against poaching.
But the numbers have dropped drastically. Last year's figure were, I think, 24 elephants poached. The previous year were about 36 elephants poached. So you could see that our numbers have gone down, and we have managed to tame these evil behavior of people, particularly the greed for the ivory.
Heightened protection in national parks and reserves has not only seen reduced poaching incidents involving elephants, but also an increase in births of rhinos, with a staggering 31 rhino babies born this year.
31 of them. And we have brought this new concept. Every baby, if you want to name, you pay 100,000 Kenya shillings. All the 31 baby rhinos have been bought in terms of 100,000. So 3.1 million shillings have been raised, and that money is going specifically to the Rangers Fund.
The CS has, however, flagged encroachment and illegal hunt for game meat as the new challenges.
Because we need to secure these assets. Otherwise, encroachment in terms of grazing continues. Encroachment in terms of charcoal burning continues. And every illegal activity will penetrate if we don't secure these properties.
6 elephants poached since the beginning of the year. Tourism Cabinet Secretary says the war against poaching continues, and that the acquisition of titles for all national reserves and parks will be done by 2021 to ensure that encroachment is curbed. Betty Kiptum, Channel 1 News.
Betty Kiptum, thank you. And now the Israeli government is keen on reviving the Galanakula food security project contract between Green Arava and the National Irrigation Authority. Israel ambassador to Kenya, Oded Joseph, says that the government-to-government talks between the two nations are ongoing to resolve the contract standoff for development of the 10,000-acre model farm.
National Irrigation Authority has been scouting for new contractors to complete the remaining 15% work at the 10,000-acre model farm at Galanakula Food Security Project after the fallout with initial contractor Green Arava of Israel over contract terms. According to the National Irrigation Authority, despite paying 5 billion shillings, Green Arava only completed 85% of the work, with the contractor accusing the NIA of not meeting its contractual obligations. The Israel Embassy says government-to-government talks to revive the contract are ongoing, despite the National Irrigation Authority repeatedly stating that it had terminated the contract with Green Arava.
Don't want to yet prematurely say what will be the outcomes of those discussions, but this is part of the discussion. And I know that there are different ideas of what to do with Galanakula, but as I said, the more accurate description of where we are is that there are ongoing discussions between Israel through the embassy and the relevant Kenyan agencies to define exactly that.
Oded terms the Galana model farm as a success, adding that Israel is seeking to increase its agriculture investment in Kenya.
Do we learn from the investment that took place and still takes place in Galanakula? Do we learn from those lessons to go to the next phase in an improved manner? My question to that is definitely there is a way to that, and that's my focus.
Israeli government plans to start offering seed capital to some of their 100 trainees it airlifts to Israel annually.
We would pick what we would find the 3 most promising business proposals. And for those 3 most promising business proposals, we would offer a potential grant from Israel to supplement what they would receive from their own revenues and from the loans.
The trainees will also be linked to financial institutions, relevant regulators and Israel companies to help them effectively participate in the agriculture value chain. He called for increased investment in agriculture sector to mitigate against potential food shortages post-COVID-19 pandemic. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Now, South Korea has fallen into recession as the country reels from the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Asia's fourth largest economy saw gross domestic product fall by a worse than expected 2.9% year-on-year terms, the steepest decline since 1998. Here are the details of this and other stories from across the globe. Exports, which account for nearly 40% of the South Korean economy, were the biggest drag as they fell by the most since 1963. In recent weeks, official figures have confirmed that both Japan and Singapore have also gone into recession. But South Korea's finance minister remains optimistic that the economy will recover swiftly. The South Korean government has so far implemented about $231 billion worth of stimulus measures to tackle the effects of the pandemic on its economy. However, authorities in the trade-reliant nation have very little control over exports, ranging from computer memory chips to cars. Meanwhile, electric car maker Tesla has shrugged off the economic upheaval caused by the COVID-19 pandemic to report its fourth quarterly profit in a row. The California-based company earned $104 million in the 3 months to 30th June, with the growth setting it on course for inclusion in the S&P 500. Tesla says its bottom line was helped by salary cuts as well as the opening of its new factory in China, where costs are lower. The CEO, Elon Musk, said the firm is focused on growth, with other plans in the works, including one in Germany and a new one he announced will be located near Austin, Texas. Tesla said it produced 82,272 cars and delivered 90,650 to customers, down about 5% from the same quarter in 2019. Finally, authorities in Germany, Italy and Switzerland have raided the offices of car giant Fiat Chrysler and truck maker CNH Industrial over claims some engines produced illegal levels of emissions. The action concerns alleged use of so-called defeat devices to mask vehicles' diesel pollution output. The engines used by Fiat, Alfa Romeo and Jeep, as well as CNH's Iveco trucks, are the focus of the probe. UK authorities have also asked two firms in London to provide documents. The raids, initiated by German prosecutors investigating emissions fraud, involve claims that defeat devices were used in engine management software in 200,000 vehicles. It's time to keep fit. Now, construction of a sports academy in Nambale sub-county in Busia County by former Tottenham Hotspurs midfielder Victor Wanyama, who now plays for Montreal Impact of Canada, has commenced in a move aimed at nurturing sports talent. The multi-million spectacular sports facility, located in a 22-hectare piece of land in a Kisumu area, is expected to be complete by December this year.
Site contractor at Victor Wanyama Academy, Maurice Ndalila, has revealed that the academy will be hosted in a 22 hectares piece of land in a Kisumu area. The state-of-the-art complex will house 4 modern fields, each with training facilities for sports trainees. Ndalila said that the pitch will be able to host international matches, a boost to the region and the country.
Kamilisha mradi huu ni mwezi wa Disemba, tutakuwa tumeshapeana na michezo itakuwa inashaanza kufanywa hapa. 50 students, the first accommodation for the first load, 50 students. Now the second, it will depend with the choice of the client himself. Kulingana uwanja pia na hekari zenye ziko hapa, nafikiri 10,000 wanaweza toshea kwa hii uwanja. Ya hii itakuwa uwanja kipekee, si hata pia tu ya ligi hapa Kenya, hata zile ligi za ngambo. Kuna ile inasakuja hapa na inajumika na wengine kufanya mazoezi.
The academy will revolutionize sports training and education in the country while providing key sporting infrastructure to the country. The construction of the facility has come at a time when the country is fighting the spread of coronavirus and has created job opportunities for youth drawn from the area who have been in difficult times trying to make their ends meet.
Ningependa kutoa shukrani kwa hii project kuleta kwa kijiji chetu, maana ime-create job opportunity kwa youth. Imebadilisha maisha sababu at least nikija hapa, natoka hapa nikijua kuwa nimepata riziki yangu ya siku.
Watapata nao pia cha kuanzia maisha, mapato ambayo itawaweka mbele na kuleta maendeleo.
Frederick Muki for Channel 1 Sports.
Well, that's all the time we had for you here on KBC Channel 1 Lunchtime News. My name is Aoko. Our sign language interpretation has been done by Lensa Odingo. We do appreciate your viewership and your interaction on social media. Until next time, do have a profitable afternoon.